Small Show, where we give you straight talk with no chaser. Here, we discuss issues from the White House to your house. And now, here's your host, Nicole Small.
Good morning. Welcome to the Nicole Small Show. First, I know I did a special live last Wednesday to thank everybody, but I want to thank you all again for your support and helping us get through the primary. And today, I want to talk about a couple of things. It's frustrating to see, how can I say this? It's very frustrating to see how hard our community works at trying to get a win, and not for themselves personally, but to achieve a win to make sure that we have better quality of life for our own community. Also, more importantly, to make sure that our rights that, our forefathers have fought for, to make sure that we have access and rights to democracy that is not stripped from us, to make sure that our vote is not being suppressed, by those who are right here in our own backyard. And you see how hard they work, only to see the end result be what it's always been, well, for quite some time, definitely under this administration. So I'm talking about Proposal P. And we had so many residents to work so hard, to make sure that Proposal P passed, along. I mean, I did too, but to sit here and to watch it, and to watch people who have been fighting for so long, only to have a system in place work against them. You look at these numbers, and we talked about this before the election. I said, if this 70% comes out and we lose by a landslide, I talked about how the numbers, for the mayor were going to be so high that it's going to make it look like if you add up all the rest of them, no one else will be able to beat him because the voter turnout is going to be so low. Like, I've been saying these things. This isn't an I told you so don't take it that way. It's what are we going to do to make sure that our efforts are coming to fruition, right? Our goals coming to fruition. That's really the point of this conversation. It's definitely not an I told you so. I'm saying that it's sad that we've been having this conversation for over a month and a half, and the end result is exactly what we've been saying that it's going to be. We're going to get less than 15% turnout. They're going to take the numbers and make it look like Duggan and whoever he wants, that they can't be beat. And people are going to focus on the numbers instead of focusing on the turnout. All of this has been said, and you could go back on my life. How does this keep happening? You're not going to tell me that with the number of us that we have, that this has to be the outcome. I personally don't believe that, but I do believe that we have to take a different approach. We need to have some real serious conversations about what we're doing over and over again that's getting us the same result, and it's not the outcomes that we say that we want. And more importantly, we need to take a look at who we have at the table. Some of our people are compromised, and some of our people are a liability. That's just the bottom line. And we have to be honest with ourselves about that. And what are we going to do? Getting back to Proposal P, before we delve a little bit deeper into anything else, we had community activists spending their own money because it was so important for them to have access to a more transparent government, to have policies in place that really benefit them instead of benefiting corporate welfare, as they should. As they should. You absolutely deserve that. You absolutely deserve that. And don't let anybody else tell you that you don't. But let's talk about what happened. So when they defunded us, we probably should have took a different approach then. And I'm saying we, I include myself. We probably should have taken a different approach then. The writing was on the wall. Scott Benson has been allowed to sit there when he wanted to take us down to, what was that, $30,000. How do we allow somebody in office to sit there and to say that you having access to your city's constitution will be defunded down to $170,000, excuse me. Then we ended up getting 300,000. I just want us to think about this. Should have done something then. We should have done something differently then, in my opinion. Now, through all of the ups and downs, I mean, they played us like a fiddle. The deadline to submit your ballot question and to get on the ballot was April the 20th. They didn't certify the ballot until May the 11th. Never seen it take that long. I've just never seen it take that long, right? Then they come out with the lawsuit. You know, if you let Reggie Reg run for anything, shame on you. Because for every door that he go to, you should go to the next. You should go to that same door too and let them know who he is. I don't know anybody else who opposed Proposal P that's going to run for office. But I'm just telling you something. These people keep coming back into the community and we keep welcoming them with open arms. But that's this whole, that's that part of slavery, in my opinion, that has done us such a grave disservice. Can't we all just get along? We should be able to agree to disagree. We sure should about certain things. But when you gonna draw the line? When is it gonna be certain things that you say you can't come back from? I don't profess to be God. So all of that, will God forgive us for everything? You could forgive, but you don't have to forget. That's what I'm telling you. And I don't understand that with our community. It's like we just don't get it. You know, you could read all the history books. You can have all of the lived experiences, but we just don't want to organize the strongest army that we can possibly have, right? You just want to keep welcoming everybody back when you know they don't mean you a damn bit of good. And it's like a domestic violence situation where they didn't mean to do it, or it's not that bad, you know what I mean? Because your nose gonna go back in place, or your eye gonna be corrected, or your arm gonna heal. That's how I feel like we operate a lot of times, right? And the biggest culprit of all of this dysfunction that we have in our own community is that leprechaun down there on the 11th floor. Black folks going at each other left and right, and he's sitting there quietly. How'd that work out? How'd that work out? Black folks going at each other's throats, and he's sitting there quietly. Like he always does. Like he always does. When we gonna get that? And so we had a primary election, and of course he was gonna dominate it because that's the way it's set up. Do you ever wonder how it is that he gets 30-some thousand ABs, Janice get 30-some thousand ABs, and then they both get 11 or 13,000 at the polls? Do you ever wonder how is it that if this was a partisan race, Democrat versus Republican, that them same Democratic Party people who are diehard would be all up in arms if they saw these numbers, like this is not possible. But see, it's acceptable for us because we just a black city, a super majority black city. And even for those who are living in this city who are not black and brown, the direct negative impact is more severe on our lives than it is on anybody else's. So it's okay. So let me tell you something. I received my Election Connection newsletter the day before the election. I received it on Monday. Now, see, Jocelyn Benson is running next year, so I guarantee you we're going to have all kind of voter education. And it's going to come from the clerk's office. You can be guaranteed that. And it's going to be probably 45 days before the election, as it should be. as it should be. Because see, what they do understand is that there is a strategy that must be executed in order to get the outcomes that they desire. We need to understand that. When we didn't get that election connection, when we didn't get it then, 45 days before, something should have happened, right? Something should have happened then. The fact that you had council people, just about every council person, holding town hall meetings about Proposal N, of which a lot of them supported, both the opposing side and the supporting side. You remember that? When Proposal N for that demolition bond, when Duggan was getting real nervous about maybe not making it. I don't know why, because he knew he was going to make it happen and get to 70% anyway. Right? They all had a district town hall or a citywide town hall. How many did they have to educate the community so we can have an opportunity to speak on the city's constitution, which is Proposal P? Not one. Not one council person. Isn't this a ballot initiative? Wasn't Proposal N a ballot initiative? Remember? That was a ballot proposal. And they surely, several of them were having community meetings about Proposal N, but they didn't have community meetings about Proposal P. How'd that work? How'd that work? That's voter suppression. That's voter suppression. You're going to withhold this information from the electorate, from the voters, so they can make a well-informed decision. And so you withhold this information, that's voter suppression. But when Duggan wanted them to get out here and to talk about Proposal N, they were talking about it. The district managers were talking about it. You notice how quiet they were about Proposal P? They just dominated the airwaves and the mailboxes because they knew that they had already had the majority of the absentee vote. Remember, I kept telling you that this voter turnout is going to be low because you don't even have the people in the districts educating their constituents about it even being an election. And when the voter turnout is low, it's easier to control the outcome. That is a fact. That is a fact. And this is exactly what happens. But you have city council and nobody held any town halls or virtual community meetings. Just think about that. Just think about that. All by design. And see, this is just not about me being a commissioner. It's not about me running the doggone race for city council at large. Just about us. This here is about us and what they're doing to us. And while the target might be on the backs of the majority of Black people and then brown people, some of you white people gonna go by the wayside too now, because you're not in the cool kids club. And that's why I do appreciate the fact that some of you are not so slow to move like some of my own people who are most significantly impacted, right? When it comes to democracy and everything, man, these white folks will get up and they do not play these games. But we sitting around still talking about it. How does this happen? We already knew what the outcome, what the strategy, and they keep using the same strategy over and over and over again. They don't even get a new strategy on us. I get so mad about that. They won't even sit down and get a new strategy on us. They use the same thing over and over again. They pull in some folks who look like us to lie to us to poison our community's mind. And they pay them off. And it's worth it to them. It's just worth it to them. And that's the problem. But yet and still, we still talking about, well, can't we all just get along? That's what you want. Let me tell you something, and let me be real clear. We have this conversation amongst this side. Now, this is amongst Black people, brown people, but more important, I want to talk about amongst the party side when we talk about party politics. Republicans, they don't care if they don't get along. They still gonna do what they need to do. That's true to a certain extent. But let me let you in on something. When it's something petty, right? When it's a difference of opinion, when they split hairs over, well, I supported this person, you didn't support this person, they could get past that. I supported this bill, you didn't support this bill, they could get past that. Let me tell you when they don't let you come to the table. When you have betrayed them, right? Or when you're a liability. And that's what I don't understand about us. It's why we so desperate. I don't know if we're desperate to have bodies or if too many of us just don't like confrontation. I don't know what it is, but a part of me really believes that it's the psychological warfare that has been waged on us since slavery, and we can't get it. You know, I know all of you know that Joanna Underwood has been on Facebook trying to drag me and everything. Let me tell you something about Joanna Underwood and her comments. First of all, she thinks more of herself than I think of her. Let's be clear. I'm running a citywide race. Don't nobody have time to go and sabotage her campaign. I don't. Let me say that. I didn't. If you look at all of my signs that was all across this city, they didn't happen by osmosis, all right? So this whole narrative about I told people not to vote for her, who are these people? Name one person I told not to vote for you. She can't. Did I help support Bill Davis? How? How did I help support Bill Davis to go against you? And see, if I had helped support Bill Davis to go against Joanna, I would tell you. I stand on all 10 on mine. And this has been happening before she lost, right? So I'll just be transparent with you. I was supposed to have had first I was supposed to be talking about her with Bill Davis. Bill Davis hasn't even talked about Joanna Underwood to me. It was Bill Davis and Miss Theo Broughton. So let's just be clear. She was upset because I liked the page when somebody said that they were going to support Bill Davis. Let me tell you about me. I knew Bill Davis first. I support who I want to support, and that's period. But because I liked the page about Bill Davis was there. I knew him first. He came down there when my brother business was getting put out, and he was there for several of the protests. And if you think I'm going to forget that, you crazy. I can like what I want to like on Facebook. All day, every day. I'm grown, and that's exactly what I told her. You don't come trying to check me about liking a post when I tried to help you, but you can't get out of your own way either. And those are the facts. Those are the facts. Reason why Joanna Underwood lost is not because of Nicole Small. I had absolutely nothing to do with it. She's telling people I took money from Duggan. Look at my campaign finance report. No, don't tell me to stop. You tell her to stop. Because I have not said anything until today. So I'm an agent. I took money from Duggan. Well, if Duggan told you he had some money for me, tell him to deliver it, because he has not. I haven't received a dime from him. I haven't had any fundraiser with Fred Durhal. And see, these are lies. And this is what I'm talking about. How you have somebody who's supposed to be in the community. You just can't let nothing go because I'm not going to deal with it. That's the bottom line, right? I'm not going to deal with it. But you go and make lies up on somebody because none of it is true. It's not that, oh, we got a difference of opinion. I have not talked to Fred Durhal about having a fundraiser with him. He's working with Janae Ayers. But you see how this go on and on and on. You mad for whatever reason, and I really don't care. But you get up here and you lie on somebody who you know trying to work for the good of the people. I'm an agent. Now, maybe you an agent because you don't want to support the person who could go against Duggan. You making up lies on somebody else. What's wrong with you? And what make you think I got the time to even deal with you in your campaign? Joanna Underwood lost that campaign because Joanna Underwood runs everybody away. That's why. So let's just be clear about that. I didn't do one thing to go against her on her campaign. Look, when you go out and get billboards that you could have done 2 mailers with, maybe that's why you lost your campaign. Let's keep it 100. That don't have nothing to do with Nicole Small. You could have came, you can ask Lori Parks about how we was over there in senior homes, even in our district. You would have been able to come, but you know what? You can't drag me and disparage my name. You can't do all of that. Then you think I'm still going to support you. That's not how this works. But we had already baked you into the plan. You took yourself up out of it. That's what you did. And this is what I'm talking about, how then people want to call, can't everybody get along? No. It's one thing when you disagree about something. It's another thing to have somebody come out and just lie on you. And everything that I'm saying is 100% true. I've not done one thing. And I want you to think about that. Look at how they always sit back and they wait for all of this to happen. Look at how we have so many personal issues, and then we want to bring it to the forefront. And because we're not happy, we'll stop at nothing to destroy everything that the community is trying to build. And that's what that type of behavior does. So don't ask me about sitting down with nobody. Because when you betrayed me to try to get the community to go against me, you betray the community. If you will make up lies on me, you will lie on the community. And I want to be clear. This is not about, oh, somebody don't get along. You need to think about it. That's the problem. This is the problem that we have in the community. How we always want to talk about, can't we always do this? No, we all can't. Everybody cannot be at the table. And again, this is why the other side wins. We don't want to lock the door and get down to business. That's what we don't want to do. And here lies the problem. You want to bring everybody because you like them. And that's never going to work. Either we're going to come to the table and we're going to take care of business, or we're going to come to the table working through everybody's emotional and personal issues. I don't have time for that. I don't. They just mollywopped us in an election that we worked hard for. And instead of talking about how to fill in the gaps or where we went wrong, we want to talk about everybody being together, or we want to talk about how woe is me and everybody is against me, right? Through all that we've been through, and let's just talk about us doing our job. We had our final charter commission meeting on Wednesday of last week to thank everybody for everything. I showed up. You know why? Because despite the outcomes, I still appreciate and value all of the work that we all have done together. But she wasn't there because she was on a live telling lies. That's what I just want to understand that. And said that she wasn't coming. So you weren't going to come thank the people? You weren't going to come thank the people? See what I'm saying? And then meanwhile, you got the mother folks over there who done stabbed us in the back. And they celebrating the outcome for a mayoral win, right? For Mike Duggan. But you always trying to convince us. You always trying to convince us, I'm not with Duggan. I just want the best, right? Isn't that what they said? Isn't that what you know what, Robert? Don't tell me about attacking nobody when I haven't attacked anyone. Period. I'm going to explain exactly what happened. If y'all don't like that, then y'all don't have to listen. But don't accuse me of attacking anybody. You go tell somebody not to attack me. But the same people who were on there saying that they were opposing Proposal P because they wanted what's best for the community, and they're not a supporter of the mayor. They sure enough were over there when he won, and when he won Proposal P, and when he won to be number one for the mayoral outcome. How does that work? So are we just going to welcome them back with open arms? When are we going to get down to business and talk about what went wrong and how we can have a win? When is that going to happen? That conversation right there. When are we going to talk about the fact that if we don't do something about how these elections are going, then we will never win anything and all of our efforts will be in vain? When is that conversation going to happen? Don't you get tired of putting forth all of this effort and you can almost see a win, and then only to find out that when the results come out, they basically have us as if it was only 10 of us. And we know that that's not the truth. We know that that's not the truth. There's no way in the world you're going to tell me that everything that they want wins by 70%. Unless you're going to tell me it's only 30% of us that we only have access to. And I don't believe that. How can the numbers keep being the same? How is it always far more than 50%? And so now we still have an even shorter window to win this. And no, to those of you who have been asking, Proposal P will not be on the ballot in November. Do you know how many people are like, oh, well, I didn't go and vote? I'm not talking about y'all on here because I know most of you voted. We didn't even do a good job of getting that messaging out, is that was it for the August primary. Now, there are some other options to get some of the things passed. But if we don't change council, that's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. We missed it. That part is gone. We can't get on the November ballot. What about that part? People thinking that they have another opportunity and they don't. Like, how sad is that? How sad is that? And so now what do? 3 years worth of work. A lot of you are set through 4-hour, 5-hour meetings. And now that opportunity is gone. And I hate to even tell you what it's going to take to get some of these other things to come into fruition. That means you have to do another ballot proposal, but you'll have to do them independently probably. So that means you have to get signatures. You know what I mean? Unless we can combine some of the issues, then you'll have to get signatures for each one. I mean, they know what they're doing. And how many times, how many people can we get to continually be committed to do that for each one of the issues? Then you know what's going to happen. Then it's going to be a fallout about, well, my issue should go first. Well, no, my issue should go first. Nah, man, more important. And then you're going to have council hijacking the work to water it down, then to put it on the ballot. You know, like they're doing with reparations. Did y'all ever notice that reparations was in the charter first, the revised charter? Do you remember the commentary for people like Janae Ayers and the rest of them about us having a commission of reparations? Do you remember that commentary? When was that, February 15th to 16th, during that 6-hour meeting, how they didn't support that, how they didn't support a commission for broadband, not even the mayor? Did you notice that? And then next thing you know, it comes to city council and it passes. And it passes. The work that you did, when they told you that you wasn't worthy of having that commission, and they gave you all types of reasons about why you can't have that commission. Right? And they turn around and hijack it, water it down, and then now it's a great thing, and it gets all types of accolades and media attention. Where was our news story about the Commission for African Americans and reparations? Where was that? Where was that media news story? You didn't see it because it was the real thing. That's why. Think about the games that they play with us. That's taking your work. That's taking your work. It's shameful. It is really shameful what is happening right now. And in a minute, if we don't do something real fast, the few people that we do have standing to do the work, they are not going to be there because they're going to be exhausted. They're going to be exhausted mentally and physically. They are going to be exhausted. That's what's going to happen. You can see it. You had some people just knew Proposal P was going to fade. Like, you can see how they're deflated. And we can't keep running up against this brick wall over and over and over again. We got to figure something out. We have to. We have to figure out where we can fill in these gaps, right? And it needs to be a list that we prioritize, and then we need to move on from there. But what we can't do is have the people, not the ones who are willing to split hairs, to agree to disagree about just politics, but anybody who's willing to poison our community. They sitting up here and they opposing Proposal P. We got another election coming up next year. You gonna remember them names? Are you gonna remember the names that are on the ballot for this general election? That's the attitude you have to take. How dare you talk about us not attacking somebody when we always under attack? How do you win a war? You don't win a war by bringing them a gift and a bow. It just does not happen like that. This is a battle for the life of our people. And if you don't understand that we are in a battle, we're always in a battle so we can try to win the war, then I don't know where you've been living. They hate you. They hate you because you have to hate somebody to cut off their water so rich people don't have to pay the cost. You must hate somebody to steal their home. You must hate somebody to allow their house to flood 3 or 4 times in a month, people, and you don't do nothing. You take money and build bike lanes instead of paying people to come disinfect and to clean out their homes. They hate you. They're going to poison you by any means necessary. This is the problem. You want to act like it's just a difference of opinion when it's more than that. It is more than that. Look at what they're doing. Historically, we have seen this type of treatment to the Asian community, to the Jewish community, to the Black community. But it's a difference for one of those communities, and it's the Black community. Everybody else understood what was happening to them, but we still don't. walking around here like these people do not have a knife to our throat when they do. And it's sad. I don't know what you want. I don't know if you want to feel validated by these people. I don't know what it is, but something is wrong. Something is severely wrong that we keep going back over and over and over again, dealing with these people the same way, right? And also approaching these battles with the same strategy. We can't. It's our community's life that depends on it. And they throwing so many different curveballs at us. I get it. But at some point, like ultimately, like what's the one thing that we want to change? One of them gonna have to be this election process. This is a problem. Because the work that we do behind it usually ends up having something to do with the elections. And I don't know, and I'm just being honest with you, I'm not the person leading this fight. This time I never have. It's always come from Tom Barrow and others, Citizens for Detroit Future, around leading in the opposition to what we see in these election outcomes. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if a recount gonna do it. We never win a recount. When have we ever won a recount? When? When? I'm confused. When have we ever won a recount? So I don't know if that's the approach. Maybe it's the way that we're approaching a recount. I don't know that much about it. But what's going on with these elections? That's a problem. The fact that we have a Secretary of State that lives in the city of Detroit, and she didn't ensure that we had real voter education, that's a problem. But she gonna do that next year when she on the ballot right here in Detroit, not just across the state. Right here in Detroit, I guarantee you Jocelyn Benson is gonna make sure. I guarantee you. So what we gonna do? That's the question. What are we going to do? I just don't think that we can afford to do the same things the same way. That's just my personal opinion. And like I said, I don't know if we're just approaching the recounts the wrong way. I don't know if we need to have another option. I don't know. But I know that we need to figure that out. I know we need to figure that out. And when it comes to us having an issue in the community, and recounts cost money. Now that's another thing. Recounts do cost money. But also think about what's ahead of us right now. So let's lay this out, a couple of things. We have the general election, right? And so if we have a general election coming out, we know that we have some people who are traitors, right? They're traitors to our community. Can we make the decision to support the other person? So I've had several conversations with people who live in District 7, because I don't live over there, who talk about both. Now, I know Fred Durhal came out publicly and said that he opposes Proposal P, and he gave all of this garbage of a reason, right? And he working with Janae Ayers, work with Duggan. I don't know. That whole piece don't sound like we gonna get some good outcomes. Now, I'm just saying, for what we say that we won't. That's one thing. But then you have so many people who are also opposed to Regina Ross. Now, see, I've only heard about her. I don't know Regina Ross's politics that well, but there are a lot of people who do not seem to be satisfied and feel like they're going to lose any way it goes. So how do we make that decision? See, I don't know that much about her politics. That I don't know. All I know is what I've heard. So I want to be honest about it. But like, what do we do? This is where we make grown folk decisions. This is where we become more strategic. And the reason why I'm mentioning District 7 as opposed to District 4 is because I'm just going to be honest. District 4 is easier. A lot more people say they don't care. They're going to support Letitia Johnson, right? We know Letitia, and they don't want ML Elric. And the reason why they don't want ML Elric is because of how he's dragged Black elected officials and never once dragged Mike Duggan. That's really the problem. That's the problem. We know the media works against us, right? And that's really the problem with ML, and they don't trust him. And some people think that he a racist, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just being honest. The feedback is you can get a lot more people to make a decision to support Letitia Johnson. We don't have that in District 7. So how do we make that decision? Are we just going to leave District 7 alone? Or do we go and have a conversation? Do y'all go and have a conversation with Regina Ross to find out exactly where she gonna stand? What do? You do need another vote. So that's why I'm talking about strategy. Like, you do need another vote. So do we leave that alone, or what do we do? And see, we need to do something soon is what I'm trying to tell you, because it's not the election is coming. We are in election mode right now. But I have a lot of concerns for the simple fact that that district is very torn. And a lot of people are extremely frustrated. They are extremely frustrated. And we need the votes. We need the votes, people. Now, I get it. If you're saying we can't get the vote out of either one of them, but I don't know. I don't know if Regina Ross and Fred Durhal is the same. Look, you didn't get Joanne Underwood or Bill Davis. Now, that's the reality. You didn't get Joanna Underwood, Bill Davis, or John Bennett. The only two that made it was Fred Durhal and Regina Ross. Now, what do we do? And I'm surely not saying like it. I'm not saying you got to like it, because it's nothing worse than when you had two people and you sure the one not going to be for you and you don't know about the other. I don't know, but we need to figure this out now, because really and truly, we should have already made a decision so we can move forward. That's what I'm trying to say. We so slow to move on some stuff. See, and then the other side, they make a real fast decision. And then they move forward, then they do the work. They execute the plan. But I can't make it for y'all. I'm just saying, but it needs to be a conversation about it. Good morning. Welcome to the Nicole Small Show.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Oh, you touched on a lot this morning. You touched on a lot this morning. Something I've been saying for years, that you can't bring everybody to the table, especially when you can't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem. I can forgive you, but like you said, I can't forget. And the problem never lies on the opponent. The problem lies within us.
Mm-hmm.
This problem in grassroots is, for the last 20 years, I know, been going back and forth. It's ridiculous. We spend more energy talking about each other than we do at the problem at hand.
Absolutely.
And that's a problem.
It sure is.
You know, I heard your conversation. Just listening about things that took in place.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that a lot of the stuff, majority of the stuff, 99% of the stuff was a lie.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
for us to feed off into what some, see, this is my problem with grassroots. It's always what somebody else said. It ain't never what you say.
Nope.
It's always third party information, and I have a real problem with that with anything. Third-party information is the worst information. And when you believe third-party information, what somebody told you, I have a problem with you because you telling me what somebody else told you. And then you never say who told you.
Never.
Because if you're going to lie on me, at least get the lie correct.
And it's dangerous. It's all that I'm saying. It's dangerous for any of us, right? It's dangerous for any of us.
It's beyond dangerous. You want to know why? Because people getting hurt. People are literally getting hurt by lies.
No, that's that attitude that if I can't have it, I'm gonna make sure you don't have it. Like that's what we need to be doing to the opposition. You get what I mean? Like, we don't even have that many people left. How do we have time to go out here? How do you have time to spend, all of this time like making up stuff? We got enough stuff that we need to fix on our end, and I'm being honest about that. All the way around. We have, if Duggan and his regime gets another 4 years, what I am saying is the consequences and the outcomes are going to be so much more severe that what has happened in the last 8 years will pale in comparison. We'll be begging to go back to what happened. We'll be begging to just go back to 200,000 water shutoffs. We'll be begging to go back to that because the outcome is going to be so much more severe. So how do we have time to be trying to tear apart our army with lies? That's what I'm saying. How do we have time to open up the door to people who don't mean us no good, who just sat here and lied to our community about a proposal that can help benefit our people?
Here's all the people who lied, and like Reggie Rich got on and Horace Sheffield said, all those things are great, but they don't belong to charter. I would like to see them down at city council pushing this because you said it was great. You said it was supposed to go to city council. So get your city council to do it.
That's right.
Since y'all have that much pull, get your city council to do it. They say, oh, it don't belong to charter. It needs to be legislated. Okay, so it's time to put some new legislators in there because obviously from the last charter, like Reggie Rich said, we gave them some things to do, and guess what? They didn't do it.
That's
so
right.
Instead of you getting up there saying, we need to do this because of that, he'll get up here and say, no, it's not, no. Oh, it's good, but it's good. Okay, so since y'all said that whole charter should be going right to city council's desk for them to go through and legislate, period.
But what about Reggie Rich said that some of the things that he wanted, he couldn't get in because it had to go to council for our existing charter. How many city council meetings has Reggie Rich ever been to since the close of the 2012 Charter Commission to go and to propose to council to implement them? Not one. See, you didn't do it for your own charter. Now you want to tell us what to do.
Exactly. And that really, that really disturbed me to the point where he kept going back to some research what somebody else did. But you live in this city and everything in that charter is basically what they need. That water plan has been on the desk since the 90s.
Yeah.
It's been on city council's desk since the 90s when Joanne Watson was here.
Yeah.
Come on. Are you serious? Here we talking about damn near 20 years later and we still talking about the same stuff? Make sense of it.
That's my point. We're talking about the same things. And we're not winning.
Circle, people that travel all over the world talking about water to come back to get this information. And guess what? It fell on deaf ears. The last time we had that big storm where we had flooding, it happened in August and September. We went to the Great Lakes Water Authority. They were steady pushing this deal through.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing happened. Tell me what's changed since we got this. Let's just be realistic. These are facts. I'm not saying something, making it up. I'm not in my feelings. These are facts.
That's true. That's true.
These are facts.
You know what's changing? The only thing that's changing is that we wearing out the soles on our shoes and we getting older. You know what I mean? And we going in a vicious cycle. And all I'm saying is that I want better for us. We are so much stronger as a people. You know, we deserve so much better. It's just that, and I know that they have more money than us. I get it. But does anybody realize this? Think about this, T. Does anybody realize the fact that Duggan just received probably 80% of the vote? Duggan just received a great portion of the vote under these conditions. Just think about it. The woman he said that he didn't even know her at all is now his fiance, and the one that he gave the money to use city resources to help with her nonprofit. Hold on. This just happened like a month ago that he got engaged to her, right? He got a divorce because he was cheating with this same woman. People's houses have flooded like 3 to 4 times in a matter of a month, right? $1 billion is on the table. And he just appropriated that the most of the money going to downtown in contracts for consultants. I don't know any other, I don't know any other politician outside of Trump who could get away with this behavior and then walk away with a landslide of the votes. This is why we don't have time for no other mess. Look at what he just did. Look at what he just did.
You know, this circle has been going around for, I'm just going to put from my perspective, for the last 20 years, we've been going around and around in the circle. We never, you know, at some point, the grassroots got to come out this box that we're in, that our own people are keeping us in. You know, I tell people all the time, if you sit back and look at the volunteers and the perspective we had with Proposal N, how everybody was out there pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. But when it came down to Proposal P, you didn't see them same people. Them people ain't come out. Them people ain't said nothing about this. They didn't put in that effort. You right, grassroots, they took it upon themselves with their own money to push this. But you have people who got Proposal and money from different organizations to push it for no, but it wound up passing. Yeah. Understand that. All that money that was spent on Proposal P, a lot of our grassroots community groups got money. Yeah, they did. They did. They paid backdoor deals and got money for it not to pass. They had way more money for Proposal N than they had for Proposal P. And it never passed. Why? Because you know what? Then you have people who are more worried about how, you know, where you guys can't go out there. You so angry, you so mad. Why aren't you? Is it because somebody just cut you and you don't even know that you bleeding? That's sometimes that's what I wonder, like, is that how they're living? And you know what? They never say anything about these other communities who get up in arms. Okay, they act like it's only Detroiters and only Detroit grassroots who get upset about their rights being stripped from them, about, you know, people violating their rights to democracy, voter suppression, about how their money is being spent. You know, they act like it's just us. But you look at what just happened in Royal Oak. Them people over there screaming and shoving about some zoning changes in Royal Oak, Michigan. Screaming and shoving about some zoning changes. I'd like to see that city council or that mayor. Do they have a mayor or city manager? They have a mayor in Royal Oak. I'd like to see them run some ads against those people talking about obscenities being thrown and telling all lies. See, they don't do that because they know they people won't tolerate it. That's my whole thing. TJ, I'm gonna have to take this next call. Thank you so much for calling. All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Nicole Small Show. Hello.
Good morning, Nicole. Hey. How you doing this morning?
Hey, Steve Better. How are you?
Okay. I just want to tell you, first of all, we gonna have our work and we gonna be successful. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been in it a long time with some other folks, and finally for folks to wake up. First of all, I'm gonna go by number 1, 2, and 3 real quick. Number 1 is the commercial that they ran. Let's talk about the commercial in over in Macomb County. What happened with that? They was fighting. You remember when Candace
Miller, yes.
Okay. Now, it seemed like nobody said anything about that. I mean, they was downright fighting about it and everything. Okay. So, and then when we asked about trying to get this, the commercial, even, you know, part of your taking of the meeting and stuff to see what really happened and stuff, we couldn't find it. But I see it was okay for you know, for the other group. Okay, number 2. Now, as far as people, you know, on the commercial.
Yes.
First of all, Reggie Reg, the reason why he couldn't even get on the ballot.
Couldn't spell his name right.
Fool knows you supposed to read. You supposed to put your real given name. Remember?
That's right.
Okay. So now, how you gonna elect somebody on the city council or any kind of public official position, and you don't even know how to get on the ballot?
But that's why. But then then you're desperate. You know what I mean? This act of desperation.
And you are desperate.
Yeah.
And another thing, what really gets me is that now the free press is coming out. I don't know if people realize that the free press had an article. What was it, a couple of weeks ago, about $13 million is missing out of proposal in. Oh,
13 million.
You want to say something? Now you want to say something?
But they only say something in passing. But they only say something in passing. That's the part. See, they plant these stories in such a way that, oh, well, we addressed it. No, what you address is garbage to try to suppress our community. But when it comes to the real corruption that's taking place, you just mention it. They never address it, right? And what about the 17 million missing from proposal?
I want folks to know this morning. You know, they mention stuff, and then it goes in passing.
Yes.
You know, and people need to look at it. You know, you couldn't get enough of. You hear Kwame and his extramarital affairs and stuff. And his wife couldn't even go to the bathroom without them following. Okay, well, what about Doug's wife? You ain't heard nothing. She got that $1 million get $1 million money and stuff in the contract that she working. You done paid these whole Uncle Toms and stuff, and ain't nobody said nothing. It's okay. It's okay for him to have marry the extramarital tramp. You know, it's okay to break up his marriage. Yeah,
more importantly, let's just do a review. So Duggan has basically sent a message that this is about Black men for me, right? When you really take a look at it. So he's so tired. Number one, he wants to run for re-election so he can have serve the same number of terms that Coleman Young Sr. did. Keep that in mind. That's a message. We never pay attention to the real messages that are being sent to us, right? He know that we love some Coleman Young Sr. and he get tired of hearing about it. So he gonna send us a message. He gonna serve as many terms as Coleman Young Sr. Then he gonna get Coleman Young Sr.'s son on his team to double down and send another message. He already had kicked Ken Cockrell Jr. to the side, right? When he made the deal with Bing so he can run against Benny Napoleon. I just want y'all to think about this. Black men who were in power, right? And while all of y'all might not like that doggone Dennis Archer Sr., keep in mind, Dennis Archer Sr. is liked by some of those elites over there, right? He was powerful because Dennis Archer Sr. opened up the doors and took the hinges off the door for white corporate America to come back in here and take over. That's how they got here. He opened up the door. He was the welcoming party, right? So you have that. So now you have Dennis Archer, mayor. Ken Cockrell wasn't a mayor senior, but he was a strong Black man who was a force in city politics. Am I right? Then you got Coleman Young Jr., who built Black generational wealth. All right, he did. And I'm missing somebody. Oh, and Horace. And Horace. You know, everybody talk about his father, the work he did with the unions, and how he worked. Well, you know, he was supposedly a part of that Buzzy Battle thing. You know, a lot of people talk about the work that Horace's father did for the community. Now, I might split hairs, but
Horace Jr. didn't do shit but embarrass his daughter.
But what I'm saying is, look at that list. And look at the majority of people. The majority of people who will fight you about Mike Duggan are Black men. Black men are the majority of people who will fight you, and older Black women, but mostly Black men are and he has sent a clear and dangerous message. Coleman Young, Dennis Archer, Ken Cockrell, Horace Sheffield. Come on now. Come on. He's sending a message. And if he gets this election, see, this is where we really need to put the BS down, right? I don't care nothing about what you think. Listen, if Tom Barrow would have won, I said this to y'all early on. I don't care. It will be a shift in Nicole Small. She would have been telling y'all, you better vote for Tom Barrow. I don't care who don't like him. I don't care. I just wanted Mike Duggan out. Okay, just like he telling everybody to support Janae Ayers and Coleman Young and don't support me. So what? I feel the same way. I'm telling you, if he gets this next 4-year term, because we can't get out of our own way, is what I'm trying to tell you. We had no business having all of these people. Now is not the time for you to express your personal concern. I just said it about District 7, what we gonna do. I personally think there need to be a conversation with Regina. That's what I personally think. But they're gonna have to do that over there in District 7. I think that if the goal is going to be A, B, D, anybody but Duggan, we need to stop this defeatist attitude that Anthony Adams can never beat him. Well, I told you what the numbers were gonna be like more than 2 months before the election. I told you that. So now it has happened. And I told you that I told you that the voter turnout was going to be so low so they can control the vote. Now, what we going to do? Are we going to increase the voter turnout? And are we going to tell people, listen here, I don't need you contemplating about, well, you got to see. This is what you need to see. If you don't vote for Anthony Adams, if you don't vote for those of us on council who going to make sure that they have your back, then this is what you're going to get. You're going to get 10 times worse than what you have right now. That's what's going to happen. And you think that you think it's hard to buy decent houses off the land bank now? You just wait. You think it's hard to be a business owner of your building as opposed to having to rent from a new Detroiter? You think it's hard now? Because see, it used to be a point in time when Black business owners in the city of Detroit owned their building. They understood how the two go hand in hand. You own your business and you own your building. You think it's hard now to buy that commercial property? You think it's hard to get a contract in this city? You think it's hard? Now, you just wait.
You can't even get a building through the land bank. You know, the line is always busy. Somebody was calling, asking me what could they do. I said, call your city councilman. The best I could do, because Region District 2 person, they don't even never answer the phone. It's going to be worse. You can forget it. You can forget it.
That's right.
You can forget it.
That's right.
What we got to do now, people, but this is what I was going to tell you, is that now after, I guess people reading, Talking about Proposal P. I said, I told you Proposal P was never bad for us. Proposal P, it was for the people.
That's right. But you still have people talking about how they gonna vote on it in November. I don't know where you gonna vote on it in November.
Neither.
All right, let me take this other caller that I just missed. Thank you. Bye-bye. It's not on the ballot in November, but what is on the ballot in November are a couple of opportunities for us to have a better government. You could choose from a mayor. You could choose better for city council. Oh. What did I do? Oh. Good morning. Welcome to the Nicole Small Show.
Oh, good morning, Nicole.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We worked hard for you.
Yes, you did, and I appreciate it.
I'm glad you got in there, and I tell you, I voted for you, Mayor Waters, and I'll be honest. I was listening to the Miko show last night, and I called in because I heard him say something about, I guess he was with Anthony Adams after the election, and I guess they were concerned about the numbers. And Anthony Adams said that he don't believe in conspiracy theory. Come on, give me a break. Either you believe in conspiracy theories, or you know that there's a raid going on, and it don't seem to bother you, and that bothers me. See,
I don't believe in conspiracy theories either. I believe that this was done by design. That's what I believe.
Yeah, that's what I believe as well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you. You got Anthony Adams. I'm gonna watch. I didn't vote for him. I voted for Barrow, but I'm gonna see how he handled this thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if he's gonna reach out to Barrow. I'm gonna see if
he's already reached out to Tom Barrow. What are you talking about? He's already.
Okay.
Yeah, he's reached out to Tom Barrow. He reached out to all of them. I do know that for a fact.
Maya Jones. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Because, the mayor was on today. I was saying, because I got out here and we worked hard for you. My goal was I would never leave your literature in a mailbox. I know that stuff costs money.
That's right.
I always talk to people and then give them your literature.
Thank you.
I would do the same for Adam because everything is anybody but Doug. I would do the same for Adam. But if he don't have that, to me, he got to have that attitude. I want this because for me to get out on these cold days and these hot days and everything else, I got to believe in you.
Yeah.
I got to believe in you.
Yeah.
And I'll see how things go. And
well, I hope we can come together. I hope that the people who want change, who want the same change, can come together, like who are like-minded. That's my whole thing. If we are really like-minded, then those are the people who need to come together. We don't need nobody who gonna go use the information so they could go get them a new lollipop. You know what I mean? That it's time out for that. It's time out for that.
And I voted. I pushed hard for Johnson. I'm glad she got out there.
Yes, me too.
I was talking to some older friends of mine, and I was talking to some business members, friends of mine that have business on Livernois, and they were talking about, no, I vote no on P. And I said, look, apparently, I know they didn't read it. I said, look, anytime, for future reference, anytime you see where things are bombarding your TV, you can't even go on the internet without seeing it. You're looking at these billboards. You got to ask yourself one question: is this grassroots people? No, because they don't have that kind of money.
That's
so
right.
It has to be somebody who don't live in this city and the mayor's agenda. So that narrows it down. So you know which is which.
That's right.
So they just they don't read. They don't want to go out of their way to do something. And one more thing. FEMA come here and they take the place, I guess, of the Go Lightly where people are supposed to be getting their resources.
Did you see how long the line was?
Yeah, I saw that. Isn't that a disdain for the people?
Yes.
So I guess we don't get enough. We'll get enough one day, hopefully.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
I'm ready for November. Get you over there. We have to get behind you and push you over that finish line.
That's right.
We'll get you there.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. We have a short window of opportunity, people. I want to keep stressing that to you. But we need to figure some things out, and we just need a sound plan, and we need to just execute it. Like, we can't fix everything. We can't. So he mentioned something too that I wanted to touch upon. You notice how people always say people don't want to read. And that's so interesting, because a lot of the seniors will say that. When you go and talk to them, they'll say, listen, half the people in here can't read. They don't know. They just vote for what they see. Whether they can't read or they choose not to really read it, it doesn't matter. What does matter is that if we believe, like if we come together and we say, yes, this is a problem, and we believe that, then we need to figure out how our approach needs to shift. And so this is when we talk about how well they do with the one-liners, how they use this TV to dominate everything. If we know that we don't have $1 million in a coffer to compete with them on TV ads, then we need to do something different, like start early. That's what I'm saying to you, like start early. You can't come, we come late now, okay? We talk about it for a long time, but I'm saying when it comes to getting organized and actually being out there, we are usually late because there's so much other stuff in the mix that's such a distraction. We trying to figure out this, and then we always got to try to drag somebody on in, but we're late. And so we have to be early because we don't have the money. Now, we can't do a better job of fundraising. I do agree with that. But what I'm saying to you is that this is the reason why we have to start now. Duggan still has a lot of money left over. Now, this is what's going to happen in this election. He going to come out after anybody that is not on his radar. So we know that's me. Probably going to replay them commercials and make up whatever else he want to make up about me. That's that. The same thing gonna go for anybody else. Now, if he thinks he probably can reason with you, then he'll probably not attack you as much, but he gonna put some hell of a money into the opposition. You could believe that. He is. So what are we gonna do to make sure that we're ahead of the game? What are we gonna do to make sure that we're ahead of the game? So that by the time the people hear it, it doesn't mean anything. That's where I think our conversation needs to really be right now. Is that how do we really compete with that amount of money? Like, what do we do? Let's take another caller. Good morning. Welcome to the Nicole Small Show.
Hey, peace and love. This nigga's Boo.
Hey, Boo. Good. How are you?
Hey. Good. I just really want to simply speak on that the gossiping, the lies, the slanders. We don't need any more distractions. We already don't have the capacity really to compete at the level of the corporations and the powers that be. So with that being said, we need to be more scientific. We need to be more analytical. And we need to stick to the script and the agenda of what we do. We need to get out of these hyperbole. We need to focus on trying to get the vote out 2 months before the election. That should have been 2 years ago.
Yes.
If we're going to have these things, people got to be able to want to put in the work, knock on those doors, have those conversations. And a lot of things is I see, and especially on the internet, we like to do a lot of talking. We like to do a lot of community complaining, but we don't want to necessarily put in the work what it takes. And it takes years. It's not a microwave. People live in a microwave society. They want instant results. For those who want to get the vote out, we should have been working on that 2 years ago.
Because Duggan was
3 years ago.
Because Duggan was, it's been over a year that he's been going to state reps. He's been going to community leaders to tell them not to support the charter. And you're absolutely correct. This happened long before the commercials, didn't it? He's been already out there having those conversations. And so we should have had a group of people that just strictly focused on educating people before we even sent the ballot question, right? To support the charter. You're right about that.
Our strongest tool is our unity, because we don't have the same funding as the corporation. If y'all go and look at Douglas' finance report, you'll see all the people he done paid recently. Some of them, you'll be surprised that they let their name be shown. So this is a different ball game. Our biggest tool is the unity. Anybody that's causing division between us, causing division within the ranks,
slandering, getting sidetracked. When we have somebody like Nicole Small, Patricia Johnson, who's a viable candidate that can win, if they sidetracking and they call people agents, then they actually essentially the agent. Because we all know, you can look at that Fred Hampton movie. The first one to bring up the name agent. Yeah. We need to quit being suckers and falling for the okie doke. And we got a race that we got to win. And if we don't, we fell in the people. Because 20 to 30 years, when the history books was being written, hey, it's going to be looked upon. They're going to look back into Detroit. You know what they're going to say? They're going to say, how in the hell does a Detroit city that's 80% black got somebody that's not even from the community that's buying off black folks, running in and the whole community out? We're going to be the laughing joke of the country. We're already the laughing joke across the country. Can you imagine 30 years? That's what you want in your hands? So that's all I want to say. Keep fighting the fight. I'm going to definitely keep supporting them.
I appreciate you.
Immature with all these goddamn conspiracy theories and all these sidetracks, and let's focus on what the agenda is. And if the agenda is to get Mike Duggan out, which it should be, then we need to focus on that. If it is to get Nicole Small in, we need to focus on that and stop with all the buffoonery. Peace and love.
Thank you. So I see on here, thank you for that, boo. Thank you for outlining that. And we do need to be more analytical. We really and truly do. And whether or not, like, that might not be your strength, something might not be my strength, but if it's somebody else's strength, let's let them implement that into the plan, right? Taking a look at the numbers, taking a look at past behaviors. And this is why we must bridge the generational gap, right? This is why it's so important. We need those who have experienced it so that when they see us doing the same thing, let me be clear. We don't need y'all with the knowledge coming to the table being messy, okay? Because you want to just keep us divided. That's not what we need. But where we do need you, and I value you so much, those of you who have experienced it and you've watched it, especially those who have the knowledge and experience to see it from the inside and the outside, we need you to come to the table that when you see us crafting an agenda and a strategy to say, you know what, we did this before, and this is why that didn't work, so that we can improve our plan and our strategy. That's where we need you. You know, I'm not telling people who are older than me to go sit down. I don't do that. Now, if you messy, you need to go sit down. But we need your knowledge. That's added value to the strategy. We need you to come in that way. We don't need y'all trying to hold folks off from trying to take their place, from not allowing other people, new people to come in and have an opportunity. We need you to bring that knowledge and that experience to the table. I value it. That's me. I value it. You've seen some of the stuff that we're trying to do now. You've seen why it didn't work out. Bring that to the table so then we can tweak it and we can fix that. Right? That's how we need you to show up. And for some of these young people, I mean, in your 20s, we need more of y'all at the table too. I mean, we do need you for social media. You know, I say that all the time, right? We do need you for social media, but we also need, you know, you to become more of a brainchild, for you to have this experience and for you to work with us. You have your own group of people. We want you to motivate them. They don't need to hear it from my old, but they need to hear it from you. Like, it shouldn't be people over 35 who doing the most work with people who 21. I think we should all work together, but do you get what I'm saying? Like, build your own network and your own base, but don't build it independently. Like, we gonna have to come together who are like-minded. I keep saying that because I don't mean everybody. I mean those who want to do this type of work so we can really win. And so what does that look like? We really need to have an authentic debriefing of what just happened. And we need to have it this week. These are facts. We need to come, some of us need to come to the table, and we really need to take a look at the numbers. We know that these numbers don't make sense. And what I want you to understand is this. Again, if this was a partisan race and you saw the results that you just seen, they would be all over it. The Democratic Party would be all over it. If this was Trump against Hillary or Trump against Biden, they would have been all over it. But see, nobody cared. Then nobody cares because they feel like, oh, that's just Detroit politics. And half of them in on it too. They silence his consent to the attack that's being launched on us. Be clear about that. Their silence is consent. And then they're going to want to come and they're going to want to motivate you for next year. I think your silence should be activated. I'm just telling you. Quit letting people use you. So my point is, we need some people from each district. That's the only way that it's going to work. We need some people from each district, and like we need to meet this week. But you can't come to the table if you want some BS. If you bring in something about what you heard or who you don't like, that's not going to work. I'm just being honest. We don't even have any time. We don't have any time for that. We really and truly don't. We just don't. That's how they want to keep us. We got to get to work. So I'm thinking, I don't know, is it going to rain this week? And I need some of y'all who went to vote. We need you to tell us about any issues that you experienced at the polls. Let me look. All right, so this week, well, it's gonna rain in the evening. Hold on, y'all. Oh, we could do Thursday. Let me see what I got going on Thursday. Thursday, the weather should be decent at about 5. Damn, I got something at 6. I could still do it because it's on Zoom. Okay. Let's do Thursday at 5 o'clock. We need to have a meetup. Outside. Let's do outside. Let's do 12th and Claremont. That's usually more centrally located. Bring a chair, but they do have tables and chairs. I mean, they do have picnic tables and stuff. So let's do that Thursday at 5 o'clock. First thing I wanted, the purpose of this meeting is for us to, number one, we need to identify our strengths, like who can do what, who lives where. That's the first thing. We don't have a good sound understanding of that either. That's why when we want to get information out, we always struggling. And it's like we start all over for every election. Do y'all notice that? Why we don't have a list that we could just go to like they have a list? That's one thing that we need to be trying to figure out. We need to talk about at least 2 deliverables that we're going to have, for outcomes for this election. We'll have a smaller meeting to discuss real strategy, but we need to get on the same page. And again, anybody who start all that mess about what they say or what they heard or that the streets is talking, what streets? Because streets telling you something. Streets need to be, why the streets don't ever tell you how to win, since the streets are always talking? That's all I want to know. If the streets are always talking, why the streets don't ever tell you how to win? So we gonna be talking. So let's do that Thursday at 5 o'clock. That's what we'll do. We'll have a meeting over there at 12 for Claremont in the park. And for them Duggan people, you better check our track record. When you be trying to come in our meetings, we don't allow that. We don't have it. So, but this will not be a like it won't be the specific detailed strategy session, but we need to do some work around understanding where we are and how we could get there. And then we need to work on some short and some long-term plans. So that's what I have. I appreciate you all. And I guess we need to post this as well. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. I'm calling on you, District 7. I need y'all to figure this out. I'm glad to see some of you commenting saying that we just gonna have to go with Ross. But I need somebody in that district to have a conversation with her. You know what I mean? So we could get some of these other people. Send Nicole your email. Right. Yeah, send me your email so you can be notified. So inbox me or text me to this 451-2228 so you can be notified. But I need y'all to have that conversation in District 7, please. Somebody over there, I don't know, Ms. Bobby Roslyn, somebody had a conversation, because we got too many people who are saying, no, I don't want either one of them. Well, these are your only two choices. I don't know what to do. So thank you. We will be back here tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I appreciate you. Be safe. Have a good day.